Two. All right, we are live. Let's see. So, if anybody's tuning in right now, we would love it if you would introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from. Oh, I'm going to make a loud noise on my microphone. Okay. Um, tell us where you're from, and ask any questions you might have about negative entities or anything else that you're dealing with. Because today, actually, with Georgianne here, you didn't come to my program because you had negative entity attachments originally, right?
Correct. I did not. No.
Right. So, and my program, I believe, if I'm remembering this right, at that time, was just called defaulting to happy. There was no talk of negative entities at all at that time.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So, you were either in the first or my second class ever, and did you know
I
that at the
think it
time?
was, yeah, I think it was the first one.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, and so and you found out about it because we actually met in person when I did a I don't even know what you would call that, a presentation, I guess, when I was in where was that actually at? It was some weird little spot outside of Phoenix.
It was outside of Phoenix. I'm not remembering exactly what the little suburb was, but it was in the
Yeah,
suburbs of
right.
Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was in that
So,
beautiful little church chapel thing.
yeah, right. That was like in a strip mall.
Yes.
Right. And then okay, and so you probably went to that because you were going to see the other person who was speaking. Is that right?
Yeah, Colton, who was the host, and he has his breathwork
That's right.
sessions that I had done with him a couple of times that were amazing.
Right.
So,
And so your first exposure to me was at that location.
mhm.
And then we talked afterwards and struck up I would say, continue to stay in contact. And I don't remember exactly what encouraged you to join the program, but I would love for you to talk about it. Like, what were you dealing with at the time that made you say, "Hey, yeah, you know what, this could really help me"?
Yeah, great question. So, well, yes, I did meet you at Colton's event, and it was a. I was very intrigued by your talk that day, and you reminded me of my older brother. So it was just kind of that extra special connection. He had
Mhm.
passed a few years earlier, so that was even more special for me
I see.
to
Yeah.
have you there. And so we did talk at that event, and it was. I I believe, it was just that connection that we had and your ideas on, vibrations and energy and just your traveling at that time. I think you had just started with
Yeah.
your traveling,
Yeah.
um, and so it was a just one of those synchronicities, connections that spirit said, "Okay, hello, you guys need
Right.
to talk," right? So
Right. Well, and I did an
right.
activation in front of the group,
Mhm,
right? So,
mhm.
and and you always respond very well to my activations. Can you explain kind of what happened there and what is happening when you experience them?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I do from that very first one. And still to this day, when I do even the recorded activations, my body still reacts to you and to the activation. So it's an amazing um, feeling. Basically, my body just kind of vibrates and goes, oh yeah, yep. And um, I don't necessarily feel the energy shift, but my body does, right? So I
Mhm,
know that things are happening that
mhm.
that I'm unaware of.
So, was there anything at the time that you were struggling with that when you went to the program that resolved, or was it just more great activations and more insight and a way to look at life?
Yeah, it was more, I didn't have anything specific at that time. It was more about me wanting to feel more happy and free and alive. I had recently left. I don't know how much we want to get into details, but I had recently left my husband. So I was going through some of that changes, but that really wasn't why I connected with you. It was really about me wanting to live a more spiritual life that I hadn't been able to do with my then husband. And so having you and I did a couple of sessions, one face to face when you were still there in Phoenix, and then afterwards we've done a couple of
Right.
sessions over the phone, right? But it was
Hmm.
really about freeing up me to be me, right? And then I'm sure you remember, Zane, but a few months after that, and let me know if you don't want me to, talk about this now, but a few months after that, I was diagnosed with cancer,
Hmm.
and you helped me a lot during that time. We were talking about some of the activations, like the um, increase your energy or increase your vibration activation that you have that I still listen to periodically. Um, and so that helped me immensely, I feel, to go through the treatments that I went through, and keeping my vibration up. It wasn't as great as it is now, but it was a
Sure.
lot better, right? And I firmly believe that the activations and the sessions that you and I did helped me to move through that time more easily, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Right.
if that kind of makes sense.
For sure. Well, and I'm sure, I mean, the things that I talk about in the program too had to have come into play
Hmm.
because here you are dealing with mortality essentially, right? And the fear that goes along with a cancer diagnosis.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we haven't even spoken much about this since then. What was that like for you, and how did you handle it?
It was, I'm a firm believer in that, anything that happens, life is happening for us and not to us.
Right.
So even when I was first diagnosed from the doctor, I knew that it was something I was meant to go through, right? I just have always had that belief. And being able to use spirit and your sessions and the program and just the vibration and the activations and just the energy associated with everybody, even in the group, right? Even though they
Mhm.
didn't know what I was going through, I don't think I shared that. Um, but it did help me to relax and allow the healing to happen. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
one thing that you and I did I think it was our first session together, was opening me up to the unconditional love and to do some activations on that.
Yeah.
Um, so that I did truly, even though I said that I did beforehand, I truly, truly did after the the program and the sessions that we had. I truly, truly love myself and everyone else unconditionally, right? So
Mhm.
that really, I believe, helped me uh, to heal faster.
Right. That's great. And what happened here is when you said I truly love myself unconditionally, I checked, and you were right. Your right brain completely agrees with the statement, right? So it has stuck, and that's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. So what what does loving yourself and everyone else unconditionally do for you?
Hmm.
What is the benefit of that?
That's a good question. It really allows me and allows me to be me, more me than I have been in my entire life, um, and to allow others to be them, right? Knowing that we
Right.
are all connected, we are all one, we are all just being, who we are.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. So it eliminates judgment, right? So you're in
Yes.
a state of acceptance of everyone. I mean, as we go up the emotional frequency chart, acceptance is at the bottom of the higher vibrational emotions. So you really have to be at acceptance in order to move up. So you're at acceptance over everyone, and then you
Mhm.
can be at optimism over everyone. Well, I bet you everybody will be okay, or this is all happening for a reason. I don't know for sure, but I'm optimistic that it's true, right?
Right.
And then to excitement. Ooh, I'm excited to be a part of this civilization, to be a part of this journey that we're all on, or whatever you might choose. And then to go up to gratitude and be grateful for all of that and all the individuals and all their uniqueness, no matter how scary or strange or beautiful they are. And then finally, unconditional love at the very top. And unconditional love vibration is very similar to the peace vibration. So when you're at peace and you're in a state of unconditional love, then you finally can say, okay, all this crap that I've been suffering from, dealing with, being worried about all throughout my life, is kind of silly ultimately, because I can just love unconditionally and I
Mhm.
can really truly be at peace, at least in this very moment. And sure,
Right.
some days I'm not going to feel that way, but I know now what that feels like, and I know now that I can get back to it.
Right, right, and be able to get back to it faster, right? I mean,
Right.
that's a huge for me, that's a huge piece of just being able to recognize where I am, what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and being, as you said, lower on the chart, on the graph, and being able to switch myself out of it more quickly.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And, as much as I talk about that process and as much as I talk about, I practice what I preach, I have to practice what I preach
Mhm.
because every once in a while I have a dip, and then I have to do the processes or the tools, whichever ones make sense for me at the time. And sometimes, they're different each time
Right.
because there's so many different things that are going on in our heads and our minds and our belief systems. Gosh, it's really, these brains are pretty confounding an awful lot of the time. So
Right, right,
they're all necessary. So I'm really going to put you on the spot now. See if you remember this.
okay.
What were the most powerful tools, or the most powerful tool that you got out of the program that has helped you? I mean, it sounds like it's the activations, but
Activations.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, you've already said that.
yeah, it's kind of the activations because that's something that I still do, right? I still listen to the activations even though now it's been, what, 2 years
Hmm.
since you and I met uh, at that time in Phoenix,
Yeah.
um, and the community, right? The group in the Facebook.
Hmm.
Group in the Facebook.
Yeah,
The
yeah, the
Facebook.
Facebook group.
Yeah, thank you. It just sounded weird. And even though I'm not as active in that group right now, there are times when I go in there and I like people's comments or I comment on them, right? But even if I don't comment, just the fact that I'm still connected with the community. I
Hmm.
mean, and we're all going through our own things at different stages in our life. So I commend you for creating that community and for the wonderful people, amazing people that you have in there. Right. So
Right,
yeah, it
and
is.
they are all amazing people, and they're all
Mhm.
people that have been through the program, so they kind of have the same language that they used to help each other with, which is really nice because they can help us. They can remind us of certain things.
Right.
So
Right.
we got a couple of comments. I want to say hello to Anjali. Hello, Anjali. And Josephine, we just talked the other day. Hi, Josephine. So, oh, and Anjali likes your headset, by
Oh, thank you.
the way. It's very, very clear and crisp. Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, so now what we work on more is negative entity attachments,
Hmm.
which at the time, of course, you didn't have to worry about that, and you haven't yet. But from your observation of the different things that people are posting on in the group and so forth, what has been your perspective as you've watched that group grow and seen all the different people that are dealing with negative entity attachments? What's your perspective on it? I'd be interested to hear.
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, and while I did not have one, I know that when I was in Florida with my ex-husband, my former husband, he did have a negative attachment. I didn't. see it
Right.
or anything, but I had a spiritual teacher who identified that on him. And I could really tell because he didn't believe, right? My former husband didn't believe in this, but I could tell when the attachment attached to him, right? And my spiritual teacher at that point helped to remove that and take him into the light, right? Which was
Mhm.
very beneficial for me, even if my husband didn't believe. But as far as the people that are in the group and all that they've gone through, um, I think what is interesting is that there are more people that have the negative entities attached than we think. I had never really heard of it other than this one, right, with my
Mhm.
former husband until I met you.
Mhm.
Um, but there are more of us than we realize, and that we have similar experiences in being able to deal with them on a regular basis, and also learning tools on how to move them into the light, right? Or whatever the verbiage is on that,
Mhm.
with what you do. Um, yeah, I think it's amazing of what some of the people go through in the group, right? That I
Mhm.
read, that go through, and then being able to
Mhm.
release him and
Yeah, yeah, and what we're seeing too is that more and more people reporting these sorts of problems and starting to realize what's happening. And I've had seems like even somebody today that I was talking to asked sort of why is this happening? Like, why are we dealing with so many of these things? And really, it comes down to we are waking up as a society. And as in that process, we are becoming connected to the spirit world where we hadn't been before. And
right,
as we connect to the spirit world now, we bring with us to our spiritual party whatever burdens and traumas and blockages that we might have. And so when we open up that channel and we say, whether we realize it or not, we say,
right,
hey, spirit world, talk to me. and who's gonna talk to us? Whoever is vibrating at the same frequency
right,
that we're vibrating at. So if we are very high vibe, then we're going to get angels and ascended masters and Star Nation collectives and all kinds of amazing things. But if we're not so high, if we're vibrating at a lower place, like your ex-husband, then the type of thing that's going to come through is something more akin to that frequency, and that might be an unwanted entity that is there to punish and in some cases cause torture and other kinds of things. So the process to get rid of them is the same thing in every case. It's what are those blockages? What are those traumas? How do you look at the world? How do you look at yourself? How powerful do you actually believe that you are at a subconscious level? Because you can say, yeah, I'm powerful, but if you don't really believe it, then it doesn't mean anything at all.
right,
And raising that frequency and all the different things that we do. And it's kind of cool because we did it in defaulting to happy before I actually expanded into helping people with negative entity attachments. And even though you haven't been through the new program, Georgianne, it's very similar.
yeah,
There's not a whole lot of difference except an extra week for talking about negative entity attachments and very specifically, and then it's about building the individual up so that the entities don't have anything to attach to anymore.
right,
So it's 7 weeks now instead of 6. Uh,
nice,
but and actually, I do these interviews, these little talks like we're on right now, right before the class starts. And so in an hour or less than an hour, I'm on week 7 of the current class, and they've been doing fantastically well. We see
nice,
each week as they rise in their mood, in their vibration, in their energy fields, and so on and so forth. And usually week 7 is a fun week because everybody's pretty happy, they're excited about the rest of their lives and that sort of
yeah,
thing. So it's a nice rewarding week that I always look forward to. But that also
that's cool,
means that the next one starts next week. So if anybody is watching and is interested, they can get in on it, and they can reach out to me through Facebook, and we'll make sure that we get them into the next program.
Yeah, that's great. And you're right. Well, I haven't officially taken part in the current program because I have access, right? So I do get your emails with all the recordings and all of that. So I have popped on and listened to some of the recordings since you and I spoke, I don't know, a couple
Oh,
months
okay,
ago.
great.
But you're right. I haven't formally gone through the program again, but I really appreciate the fact that as a member of your community, right, that I can access the new courses whenever I need to, right, or bits
Yeah.
and pieces of them if I need to. Yeah, I love that.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the benefits, and one of my guarantees is that if you aren't completely happy at the end of the 7 weeks, then come back again and we'll go through it again. And
Yeah,
sometimes, every once in a while, we run into some people that do need to take it twice, and then they really see a difference on that second time through.
yeah,
Because there's
I
an awful lot of stuff and many tools and many things that are going on, that are introduced, that maybe, the second time through you go, well, I didn't try that tool the last time, let me try it this time. And then, they discover that that was the one that they needed to do.
yeah,
So it works out really well.
yeah, yeah. And the second time they might just be more open, right? Even subconsciously, they just might be more open to what's the new tools, or just their self-belief that they can do
Right.
it.
Yeah. And or they see the other, 8, 9 people have
Hmm.
a great success, and they go, wow, I want that. So I know it's possible. So let me try this again. And
Yeah,
so for those
yeah,
folks, I commend them, because they have to, it's work. It's important work. It's challenging work, and or it's rewarding work. And but it is work. So there are
hmm,
some times when you go, oh gosh, I don't want to post my gratitudes today. I don't feel like it. But those who actually sit down and do it notice huge changes, and that's just
hmm.
one of the many homeworks in the program.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember, since you reminded me of the gratitude. I mean, I have always done, well, not always, but probably the last 15 years, periodically I'll go through my gratitude, right, every day or whatever. And then after, I think it was probably after my cancer treatment, that I really stuck to every single day. I have a gratitude journal. I sit, when I first get up in the morning, I sit and I meditate for a little bit, and then I pull out my gratitude journal and I write. Sometimes it's 3 sentences, sometimes it's a page and a half, right, in my little book. So
Mhm.
I agree with you, and believe that gratitude is essential, right? Even when we think, oh, I don't have anything to be grateful for. Yeah, you woke up, right? You're
Yeah.
breathing, you
Right.
can see or hear or, eat or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, gratitude is
Yeah,
huge.
even if you're in a situation where you can't eat and you can't do this and that, because you're sick or whatever, there
Yeah,
are still things to be grateful for, even though it doesn't feel like it. And the flip side is true too, where you think, well, I'm grateful for everything, whatever. Then you can, but if you really sit down to do it, you then get to feel the experience, rather than just say, yeah, I'm grateful enough.
yeah, exactly. Yep, yep,
And so, if
exactly.
there's anybody listening right now or watching that might be curious, because you did bring up your cancer diagnosis,
Hmm.
why don't you let everybody know where you're at today?
Oh, great question. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. As of today, my cancer has is it I'm in remission,
Hmm.
basically, is the,
Hmm.
technical term.
Right.
Um, a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half since my treatment ended. I am getting my health back and my strength, because what had happened during the treatments, it was about 6 weeks total of what I went through, but I basically was unable to walk very much. I was tired, right?
Sure.
the radiation and chemotherapy just kind of knocked me out
Yeah.
with everything. Um, so I am happy and grateful that it happened, that and it sounds weird. Sometimes people look at me funny. However, I am grateful that it happened because it was a new experience. It was an adventure. Do I wish it on anybody else? No. Do I want it
Right.
again? No. However,
Hmm.
I feel that it's gone, right? I mean, I truly um, just feel the health of my body and my mindset and my subconscious of what I needed to experience going through that. Thank
Yeah.
you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful. And yeah, most people would not say that they're grateful for something miserable like that. But, that is a really important part of life.
Hmm.
And if we say, oh, well, this horrible thing happened and this horrible thing happened and so on and so forth, and you just have this list of things you were miserable about and you're still miserable about them,
Right.
then that's really a very difficult path to walk. But if you, which seems weird, but if you say the opposite, oh, actually, that miserable thing cleared the way for this, or it opened
Hmm.
me up to that, or it made me stronger, or it made me more appreciative of life, or whatever, then all of a
Right.
sudden you're flipping it and you're taking advantage and strengthening yourself based on your negative experiences. And so that then you can say that sentence, which is bad things don't happen, or negative things don't happen to you, they happen for you, so that
Hmm.
you can get something beautiful out of it.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
So in that process, you're in the middle of it, right? Let's take you back, if you're okay with that.
Hmm.
You're in the middle of the process of the treatments and so forth. What kept you from being forlorn or giving up?
Yeah, good question. Well, part of it is my gratitude. Part of it is you and I had talked, of course, before then. And so I had some activations and meditations that um, I wasn't doing them all every single day.
Hmm.
However, it was part of my journey was to meditate and do the high energy, high vibration activation. One of yours that I have used, I don't know, probably 100 times since you and I met, right? So and just having my belief, right, that I've always had my whole life, that everything that I go through is what is meant for me to go through.
Right.
Even if I don't understand why then, and being able to look back at it. So the kind of short answer is the meditations, your activations, being part of a community,
Hmm.
a spiritual community, and relying on my angels, right, that
Hmm.
are always here with us, and I've been able to connect a lot more with them since then,
Hmm.
right, which has helped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And I do like the juxtaposition of what you said. You said at first, yeah, so everybody knows I'm in remission, which is the technical term. And then a few minutes later, you said, I feel like it's gone.
Oh, it's
And
gone.
so,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So the word remission is one of those things that helps keep it around, I feel like, because if you say, oh, you're in remission, which means that it could come back, watch out, it could come back, then that can actually create a more fear, and more fear than the full release that you get if they say you're cured. Right, it's gone forever. It'll
Yeah.
never come back again. Of course they can't say that, because in those cases where it does come back, then they get in trouble. But in actuality, believing that it's gone and gone for good is way more powerful for you than saying, oh, well, it's gone for now, maybe it's going to come back.
Yeah. Yep. And thank you for that, Zane, as well, because I mean, rarely talk about the R word, the remission. Um, and and you're absolutely right. I mean, I won't use it again. because
Yeah.
you know,
You don't believe it.
I
There's
don't
no
believe
reason
it.
to. You were trying to you aligned yourself with science as you answered the question, right? You aligned yourself with the medical world to
Yes,
answer the question, which we do because science and the medical world dominates society. And so you're here, being listened to by other people. So you think, well, I should explain it to them in a way that they understand, right?
right,
As opposed to, but the truth is yours. Your truth is the truth. And
right.
so saying truly that it is gone is very powerful and a great lesson for everybody listening to.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Yep, it is gone, most definitely.
Oh yeah, booyah, high five.
High five. I guess that doesn't work if I do it to your face. I gotta do it to the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I want to
Oh,
say hello to Miroslava. I'm probably Miroslava. I don't know. I'm probably murdering your name, but thank you so much, Mira. Okay, so really, where are you at now? You said you're able to speak to your angels.
mhm,
What you've did,
mhm.
I know you've been working on your spiritual gifts. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, great question. I have been, because you and I have talked about that, but I have
Mhm.
been um, identifying. Let's see. I've been doing a lot of automatic writing, and with my daily practice of meditation and gratitude is then automatic writing. And there are lots of times that I feel very connected, and the words just that come out are from spirit, which is wonderful. And I am working on a being able to, with my spiritual gifts, of being able to help others align their money beliefs, right? I'm still working on that. Uh, but it's
Me
really,
too.
yeah, I'll help you. You
Okay.
can be one of my test subjects.
Okay. Sounds good.
um, and it's, I'm one of those, I've always believed and still do that money is always around us, right? It's just like energy. It does grow on trees. I always have enough. I've always felt that way. Um, and so now it's about identifying what ways I can help others to have similar beliefs, right? Or remove their money blocks, right? So
Hmm.
that they can be the true them. I mean, abundance is our birthright. So it's really about putting all those little pieces together to help more people,
Hmm.
serve them.
Great. And what have you discovered so far are the gifts that help people do that? What is your method to help people overcome those blockages?
Yeah, right now I'm creating meditations and activations. So it's
Mhm.
through my voice.
Mhm.
And I am still feeling the confidence that I
Yeah.
can do it, right? That I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
say these things. So
Right.
that's what I'm starting at, though, is with
Mhm.
meditations and some activations. And then, and I think I've told you this, so I'm going to Egypt in the end of March, right? In
Okay.
April with
Right.
the shaman, so a spiritual journey. And so I feel that coming back from that trip, and I don't mean to put it out, my gifts out for a couple more months. However, I feel that that will really allow me and encourage me to be me and share my voice
Yeah.
the way I'm,
Absolutely.
meant to. But
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and I needed the real world confirmation. I couldn't just walk around going,
Mhm.
I can do stuff, and it's not been proven, but whatever. Like, let's try
Yeah.
this. It was through a lot of practice and a lot of work with others and receiving their feedback and knowing for sure if it's really helping them or not. And even though I was a science believer, right, that my science background was everything, and this spiritual world was silly, to switch completely and
Mhm.
truly be able to help people by using activations and so forth was definitely a challenge for me. but it did work out that everybody I worked on in the very early stages had very noticeable results. So it gave me the confidence that I needed to be able to stay, okay, this is doing something. And,
Yeah.
I could still go, all right, here we go, and I'm not 100% sure at all times, but what's great is it continues to be reinforced and reinforced and reinforced by each individual that I work with. So it's always a journey, and I I volunteer. I want to be a test subject for you, Georgianne.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have a dear friend here. In Arizona. She's my she does oh, my mind just went blank. Um,
A friend here in Arizona who
she's a
does.
hypnotherapist.
Okay, right.
And so we've done a couple of sessions of past live sessions, which are just fascinating for me. And so she volunteered to be in my first group as well. So I'll add
Nice.
you to the list.
All right, good. That's great. Yeah. So, when are you gonna start that? You said you're gonna wait till after you get back from Egypt.
No, I'm going to start now. I'm hoping after Mercury retrograde, right, which
Yeah.
ends February 2nd or 5th or whatever day. So probably mid-February, I want to put some things out there into the world
Hmm.
and be able to change. I just feel that with Egypt that I'm going to really propel. I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
feeling belief that
Oh,
I
I'm
have.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and that those feelings come from somewhere.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I'm actually kind of running out of questions. I feel like we did fairly well giving the backstory. Is there more that you're like, oh, I really want to tell him this?
Well, as you know, Zane, I love you unconditionally,
I love you
and
unconditionally.
and I am just so grateful and thankful that we did meet 2 years ago, 2+ years ago,
Right.
and I know that we were meant to meet, and my life has just changed immensely, forever changed since meeting you, um, and I just send you love and gratitude
Yeah.
forever.
Oh, thank
Forever.
you. Yeah. Right back at you. And we could kind of talk for a minute on Cosmic, because it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
fun. I'm starting to let people know about it more and more. But for anybody who is unaware, I am the new owner of Cosmic Television, which is a streaming service on uh, the Roku and Amazon Fire and iOS and Android. So we're kind of redoing the whole thing. We're kind of rebooting it all, and Georgianne has volunteered to come on board to be our CFO. So you're taking that money to knowledge to use in a 3D/5D opportunity, I guess is the right
Yeah.
word.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. And there's uh, lots of wonderful content that I'm hearing, right, that will be on the channel. I mean, there's already some good content on there, so it's
Mhm.
just exciting to see the possibilities of where your leadership is going to lead us. So I'm very happy about that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, it's been really fun. And we just had a meeting on Friday with, we have almost 40 content creators. Not all of them could
Nice.
attend, but we had a really great meeting where people are sharing ideas and collaborating. So I'm really excited about where this is going to go. And we continue to add more people to our staff and really expand to what we really want to accomplish, and what that is taking mainstream TV and merging it with spirituality, so that you have reality shows that are about spirituality, you have cooking shows that are about spirituality, you have maybe game shows that are about spirituality, whatever format that you can think of that's in regular mainstream TV, and converting it, I guess you could say, into spiritual topics and spiritual backgrounds. is really huge, and it hasn't been really done yet. So
Mm-mm.
it's very special for all of us that are working on it to be able to bring something to the world where, you know, you come home from work and what are you going to do? You're going to watch Netflix. Okay, you're going to watch Netflix. All right, well, there's lots of people being murdered or being, you know, whatever,
Right.
negative, low vibe, and you go, gosh, you know, I want to have some popcorn and enjoy myself, but not be inundated with low vibe material. What can I do? Well, and that's what we're filling that void for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. Great possibilities and opportunities with it. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So, and your addition to the management team has really been incredible. It's not my area of expertise at all, so it's been really nice to have you to help us in all those financial things, which, you know, in the spiritual world, the financial things kind of seem icky, but if you take the right approach, which you're taking, it isn't.
It isn't. And finances are a fact of life, right? In the 3D world, finances and money are a fact of life. And um,
How you
yes.
approach that energy is exactly what you get.
hmm
So
hmm
I'm certainly, what do I want to say, guilty of getting worried about money, getting, you know, oh no, it's not going to happen. It's not working right. And so the energy that we put into it, if I bring that energy to it, I find similar results. So
Right.
and that's what what you're going to be doing, is helping people with
hmm
that and breaking them of that problem and so on. So it's a pretty cool thing you got going on there.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. Excited. Yeah. One thing I learned years and years ago when I was a financial advisor, because you know my whole career, my whole adult life has been in money, right?
Right.
And so I was a financial advisor for a long time. And one of the conferences I was at, and the speaker who was up there was talking about a client that he had had who had issues with money, right? And never had enough and never had whatever. And so what he had her do is take a dollar, just $1, and put it in her pocket or in her wallet, right? Depending. A man, you can just put it in your pocket, but put it in her wallet and several times throughout the day, touch the wallet and say, I always have money. I always have money. I always have money. Now her monkey mind would go, oh, but it's only $1. It
It's
doesn't
only a
matter,
dollar.
right? You
Right.
switch it to I always have money. I always have money. And so I love that, right? So,
hmm
and I used to be credit card only, right? I never had cash with me. But
hmm
man, let me tell you, since then I always have cash. I always have lots of money,
hmm
and it's just a great way and simple way of helping you get out of that mindset of I always have money.
Right. And you said another thing to us in one of our meetings the other day, which was, I love money and money loves me.
Yep, yep. I say that every day on my morning mantras, man. I love money and money loves me.
Right. And so
Yep.
for anybody who's watching right now might go, you know, what? Oh my gosh, you love money? Oh, you're greedy and you have these problems. And I were like the dark cloud over that is really
hmm
strong for many people. So
hmm
to hear you say it and believe it and not look at it as greed or not look at it as
Right.
wrong is powerful, because money is an energy just like every other type of energy, and our
Absolutely.
upbringing and our experience that colors that and changes the way that we look at it. So it is powerful to get behind it and recognize that actually it's unlimited, and it is just an energy.
Yeah, it is. And if you love money, money will love you back, baby.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, then, thank you so much, Georgianne, for coming on today. It was really a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to the next time we get to do this.
Thank you. My pleasure as well. Love to everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll probably see you next week. Bye.
Bye.